Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Prof. Mursid, as a Sociolinguistics lecturer, I'm Nurul Septiyani from Special Class 1. Would like to present the journal analysis under the title of Dialect, Register, and Style. Here is the journal analysis. The title is The Language Varieties on Sukarno's Speeches. This journal is taken from Jurnal Ilmiah Bahasa dan Sastra and published on 2nd December 2014. The writer were Juwaria as the corresponding author, the student of graduate program of linguistics of Pajajaran University, Bandung, West Java, and Sien Herawati from English Educational Department, Kanjuruhan University of Malang. And then here is the abstract from the journal. Sukarno stands as one of the best orator and a great charism the world has ever had. His charm and talk immersed his people. Sukarno's speeches considered as history's record document for his nation and worldwidely. This study was aimed at finding the language variation on his speeches. This was a descriptive qualitative research in which the data was taken by documentation. The collected data was analyzed through 3 steps: data reduction, data description, and a conclusion. The data are first categorized into units. Then the data are categorizing relate to the relationship of problem of study. And the third, the data are integrated to find the theory. And then the finding of the study revealed that first, Sukarno Javanese language used as dialectal word considered as influence of his origin and social caste as Madhya level. So Sukarno also used a frozen on opening his speech in his speech in front of leader of other nations without concern what will he talks in the following lines of his speech, even if might swear or blame them. And then the key words of this abstract of this journal are variety, speech, and Sukarno. And then the next slide is the purpose of the study. So this study was aimed at finding the language variation on Sukarno's speeches. And then the introduction of this journal. The writer wrote that language is not simply the means to communicate and convey explicit meaning. The writer used the theory of Chomsky that says a word is the mirror of mind. This ought to be reasonable. Through people words, we might find other implicit message, such as the speaker private information. And this study is included to be the concern of sociolinguistics, and variety as one subtopic of sociolinguistic concern about the differences of language within the society. Sukarno, as a president, the leader of people, had delivered many official and international speeches. Through words or phrases on the speeches transcript, we might find hidden information of Sukarno. And the literature review. The writer in this journal used 2 theories of the first is the definition of variety. that no one speaks the same way all the time, and people constantly exploit the nuances of the languages they speak for a wide variety of purposes. This is the theory of Wardolf in 2006 on page 5. And then the second theory was from Spolsky, that there is a dialect register and style. Spolsky in 1998 stated that dialects, styles, and register are the ways of labeling varieties of language, though they are independent, as noted before by Wardolf in 1998. The next slide is research methodology of this journal. The research design. Snape and Spencer in 2003 indicated that qualitative research is a naturalistic or interpretative approach that concerned with understanding the meaning people give to the phenomena within their social setting. So this study used descriptive qualitative research to find and describe the variation of language on Sukarno's pages. And there is the data and source of the data, also the technique of the data collection. The main source of data is from Sukarno's pages, that transcript taken from the website written on this slide, and then the data from Perpustakaan Nasional Republik Indonesia in 2006, and the data consists of 12 pages transcript. And the technique of data collection, written descriptions of people, events, opinions, attitudes, and environments, or combinations of these can also be sources of data. And in this study, documentation were used to obtain data relevant to the study's objectives and research questions. And the data analysis. Analysis of the data using grounded theory technique involves 3 stages. The first is open coding, in which the data is categorized into units, and then the second actual coding, in which the relationships between categories are identified, and then the third is selective coding, where the core categories are integrated to produce a theory that stated by Strauss and Corbin in 1998. First, the data of speech transcript are divided into 3 that involved data of dialect, register, and style. And then the second, each data are categorized into some division. And then the third, each category is presented to show the findings of variations of language on Sukarno's speeches. And then the next slide is result and discussion. Dialect. The result of discussion in dialect topic, the writer found that Sukarno said, sampai Luns mencari-cari jalan, sampai nelusup-nelusup ke Peru. Saudara-saudara lo, kok tidak malu? So, the word nelusup is a dialect from Sukarno. And then the other dialect is, kata orang Jawa, pancan rai gedek. So, the word at the sentence of pancan rai gedek is dialect from Sukarno, that he is a Javanese people. So the findings of Javanese words or phrases on Sukarno's pages, which is being presented by figure 1 and 2, shows that the use of dialectical word as a variation of language on Sukarno's speeches. Sukarno inserted many Javanese words and phrases on his speeches without consider where he delivered the speech. And the next finding is a register. Sukarno said bahwa emansipasi adalah harus emansipasi dunia, bahwa persaudaraan haruslah persaudaraan dunia. So the use of formal register on Sukarno's speeches are in the form of some professional and social jargons. And the jargons used by Sukarno is so popular and being used at that time and even nowadays, such as jargons of name of weapons, some name of his speeches, program names, policies, and etc. And besides, the formal register of Sukarno is considered to be poetic and exaggerated. The use of good structure and right adding and omission of suffixes and prefixes also considered to be formal register of Sukarno. And then the next finding is style. The first is frozen style. Sukarno said, Tuan Ketua, para yang mulia, para utusan dan wakil yang terhormat. So the finding of frozen style on Sukarno's speeches are presented by Sukarno, by the most important speech of Sukarno, the entitled Proklamasi Indonesia, which opened the era of Indonesia's Independence Day. The characteristic of the speech is, first, used in a public speaking before a large audience, and then wording is carefully planned in advance, and then the third, intonation is somewhat exaggerated. The next finding is the formal style. Sukarno said in a proklamasi, Saudara-saudara, apakah yang dinamakan merdeka? So the formal style considered as a style used on formal situation. This style is commonly used by speaker on seminary, meeting, conference, official speech, and etc. This kind of style is used by Sukarno on his several speeches. So this style is being considered on the way Sukarno addressed his audiences generally. The next finding is the formal style. Sukarno said in a proklamasi, Saudara-saudara, apakah yang dinamakan merdeka? So the formal style considered as a style used on formal situation. This style is commonly used by speaker on seminary, meeting, conference, official speech, and etc. This kind of style is used by Sukarno on his several speeches. So this style is being considered on the way Sukarno addressed his audiences generally. And the next is consultative style, which is when Sukarno said, huh? And then the audience said, makmur dulu pak. And then Sukarno, huh? So the consultative style is considered as a style which presents a dialogue or a response from the audiences, while this style is considered as a style used on daily conversation, which included short response or signal response, like applause or laugh and nod, and etc. seldomly can be found on speeches, but on speech of Sukarno, this kind of style was being used. And the next finding is a casual style. When Sukarno said, Saya dengan Pak Ho, Paman Ho, Ho Chi Minh, datanglah suatu delegasi saudara-saudara. So once considered as casual style is addressing people with their name, even a nickname. In example, that I said before, Sukarno addressed some people casually with their names in his speeches, such as although mentioning their title or occupation, he is rather to use their nickname, not the full name. This considered as casual style of his to addressing people. On Sukarno's speeches, this kind of style has a lot of data presented on his speeches. And then the next finding is the intimate style. Sukarno said, "Nah, terang-terangan saya ini kan rupanya saya sudah kelibatan sedikit Tionghoa. Lain dengan Cak Roslan, sedikit keling dia itu." So the intimate style is considered as a daily conversation between family, lovers, or friends. Affectional words such as honey or dear are common. For finding this style on speech will be difficult. On Sukarno's speeches, this style finding data are presented on some particular line. So the last discussion is a conclusion. First, the findings of dialect revealed the Javanese word deals with Sukarno geographical origin as Eastern Javanese. That is Surabaya, or usually called Wong Jawa Timuran. With regard to the data findings of register revealed, first, formal register as a president and a great orator, this kind of register are found on Sukarno's speeches. The way of appropriate terms for a particular field, such as ideology or philosophy, are presented on the form of formal register. And then with regard to the data findings of style revealed, first, the frozen style of or oratorical style, the result of the analysis of the study of this style in Sukarno's speeches show that the style of Sukarno considered frozen, while Sukarno arranged his structural outline of his speeches, such as on proclamation of Indonesia independence. This style also deals with structural privatory such as. And finally, thank you very much for watching this presentation.